cut one's losses. To stop investing in a failing project or venture to avoid further losses. To abandon an unprofitable endeavor. To minimize financial damage by ending involvement in a situation that is unlikely to improve. After months of declining sales, the company decided to cut its losses and close down the unprofitable division. Instead of pouring more money into the failing startup, the investors decided to cut their losses and sell their shares. The homeowner, faced with extensive repair costs, decided to cut his losses and sell the property as is. Recognizing the declining market for their product, the entrepreneurs chose to cut their losses and pivot to a new business model. Despite their initial investment, the couple realized the renovation project was too costly to complete and chose to cut their losses by selling the property. The bottom line. The final result or outcome. The net profit or loss after all expenses, revenues, and other factors have been considered. The fundamental or most important aspect of a situation, especially in terms of financial impact or consequences. The CEO emphasized the importance of cost-cutting measures to improve the company's bottom line. When negotiating a contract, it's essential to consider the bottom line and ensure that the terms are favorable for all parties involved. Despite the impressive revenue figures, the company's bottom line was negatively impacted by rising expenses. We need to increase our efficiency to improve the bottom line and remain competitive in the market. The charity's success is measured not just by fundraising totals, but also by the positive impact it has on communities, the real bottom line. Rob Peter to pay Paul. To take money or resources from one source or budget to meet a pressing financial need in another area, often resulting in a cycle of borrowing or indebtedness. To solve one problem or obligation by creating another, often by shifting resources or funds from one priority to another. Facing a cash flow shortage, the small business owner resorted to robbing Peter to pay Paul by delaying vendor payments to cover payroll expenses. To cover unexpected medical expenses, she had to rob Peter to pay Paul by dipping into her savings earmarked for a future vacation. The government's decision to rob Peter to pay Paul by reallocating funds from education to healthcare has sparked controversy. Borrowing money from one credit card to pay off another is a classic example of robbing Peter to pay Paul and can lead to a cycle of debt. The company's practice of robbing Peter to pay Paul by borrowing from its reserves to cover operating costs eventually led to financial instability. A penny saved is a penny earned. A proverbial expression emphasizing the value of frugality and saving money. Money saved is equivalent to money earned through income or wages. Encouragement to practice thriftiness and financial discipline by prioritizing saving and prudent spending. The financial advisor stressed the importance of cutting back on discretionary spending, reminding her clients that a penny saved is a penny earned. The grandmother imparted her wisdom to her grandchildren, teaching them that a penny saved is a penny earned and encouraging them to save their allowance. Despite the temptation to splurge on luxury items, she adhered to the principle that a penny saved is a penny earned and prioritized building her savings. I've learned to budget carefully and avoid unnecessary expenses. After all, a penny saved is a penny earned. By diligently clipping coupons and hunting for bargains, she practiced the philosophy that a penny saved is a penny earned and stretched her budget further. Pass the buck. To shift responsibility or blame to someone else. To avoid taking accountability for a decision or action by passing it on to another person. To transfer a problem or task to someone else, especially when one is unwilling or unable to address it oneself. Instead of addressing the customer's complaint directly, the salesperson passed the buck to the manufacturer, claiming the issue was beyond their control. Faced with criticism over budget cuts, the government official attempted to pass the buck by blaming previous administrations for fiscal mismanagement. In dysfunctional organizations, employees often engage in a game of passing the buck, unwilling to take ownership of problems or find solutions. The politicians sought to pass the buck on the controversial policy decision, deflecting criticism by pointing fingers at opposing parties. The manager tried to pass the buck to his subordinates when the project failed, refusing to take responsibility for his poor leadership. Rake in the dough. To earn or acquire a large amount of money, especially quickly or easily. To make a significant profit or financial gain, often through successful business ventures or investments. After launching the new product, the company started to rake in the dough, with sales exceeding expectations. With the success of her best-selling novel, the author began to rake in the dough, signing lucrative book deals and movie adaptations. The real estate mogul continued to rake in the dough, buying and selling properties in lucrative markets. The musician's hit song allowed him to rake in the dough through royalties and concert ticket sales. The entrepreneur's app became wildly popular, allowing him to rake in the dough and become a millionaire within a year. Cost an arm and a leg. To be extremely expensive. To require a significant amount of money to purchase or obtain. Used to emphasize the high price or exorbitant cost of something. The wedding venue had stunning views and impeccable service, but it would cost the couple an arm and a leg to book it for their special day. The luxury car dealership advertised its newest model, boasting top-of-the-line features that would cost customers an arm and a leg. The custom-built house was spacious and luxurious, but it would cost the buyer an arm and a leg to purchase in the upscale neighborhood. The designer handbag may be stylish, but it costs an arm and a leg. I can't justify spending that much on it. The antique clock was a beautiful piece, but it cost an arm and a leg to restore it to its former glory. Put all one's eggs in one basket. To invest all of one's resources, efforts, or hopes into a single venture, opportunity, or outcome, with the risk of losing everything if it fails. To concentrate or focus exclusively on a single strategy or course of action, disregarding diversification or risk management. The company's decision to put all its eggs in one basket by relying solely on one supplier backfired when the supplier went out of business. He decided to put all his eggs in one basket and invest his life savings in the startup, hoping for a big return. Instead of putting all her eggs in one basket by focusing solely on her acting career, she pursued other interests to ensure financial stability. The gambler put all his eggs in one basket, betting everything on a single horse race, with the potential for a huge payout. The investor cautioned against putting all one's eggs in one basket, advising diversification to mitigate risk in the volatile market. Belt tightening. A reduction in spending or expenses, measures taken to cut costs and live within one's means, especially during difficult economic times. The practice of exercising frugality or austerity to manage finances more efficiently and weather financial challenges. During the recession, many families had to resort to belt tightening to make ends meet. The government announced belt tightening measures to address the budget deficit, including reducing public services and raising taxes. The college student adopted belt-tightening habits, such as cooking meals at home and using public transportation, to manage her limited budget. After losing her job, she had to practice belt-tightening, eliminating non-essential expenses and finding ways to save money. The company implemented belt-tightening measures, including layoffs and budget cuts, to stay afloat amidst declining revenue. Level up your English. Master vocabulary, idioms, and phrasal verbs with fun quizzes. Translate meanings into 104 languages. Download now. Link in the description. Please like and subscribe to our channel.